Hello campers, welcome back to the Casual Car Camper. Today we're going to be cooking with isobutane. Now, there's a lot of different types of isobutane containers. And today I'm going to be cooking with my APG Jetboil style and my mini backpacker stove. So when you're setting this up, always make sure you have the tongs out so it gives you more support, and make sure that you have them all spread out evenly so that you get even support. I'm gonna hook this up. So today, because isobutane is very popular among backpackers, we're going to try to replicate a backpacker meal. I am using some ingredients I got at the local food market, but you can just as easily do these with stuff that you can pick up at any local grocery store or food market or Dollar Tree, depending. But this is actually to cook for some friends, so going a little fancy, but not too bad. But this is all stuff that you can get just about anywhere. So this is my isobutane portable backpacker stove. Goes right on top of my tank, and then I just have a small little cast iron pan. You can get a cast iron pan, or at the dollar store sometimes they have small non-stick pans, great for 1 or 2 time use. Now you can either pick up like a 5-pack of top ramen, beef, chicken, whatever flavor you like, but I was at the local market and I found some Asian style imported noodles, so we're gonna have some fun with that. So that's going to be cooked in the APG. The one nice thing about this, if you're going to be backpacking or just trying to camp with as minimalist camping, is you can just put your fuel and everything right in this. When you pack it out, it's all one unit. Now I have a container of portable water. I'm going to put that in. This is basically something that you can take backpacking. We have some noodles. We have a thing to basically make the soup. And then what I did was I picked up some dried beef, because the beauty about, or dried pork, I'm sorry. What I did was I picked up some dried pork, and the beauty about this is it'll keep, if you're backpacking for a day or a couple days, and you don't have to worry about it going bad until you actually cook it. Also, because I just really like sausage, I picked up some Chinese brand sausage to cook up on the frying pan. Now the pan's a little small for these sausages, so I'm just going to break it in half. This is, again, the nice thing about the dried sausages is, while you normally do keep them in the fridge, they will keep several hours unrefrigerated. You can always just pick up one of those little lunch bags, the insulated lunch bags, throw this in with a small ice pack or a water bottle that's been frozen, and that way when your ice pack is done, you have cold water. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get our 2 stoves going. Okay, so that might be a little loud. I apologize if there's too much background noise.
I didn't realize. Sorry about that, folks.
Okay, so we want to wait till this gets to a soft boil, and the pan's heated up a little bit before we put the sausage in, but we can open up our sausage. Oh.
Hey, car camper, would you like a cutting board?
I'm good. I'm gonna just do it open by hand.
All right.
Today's theme is roughing it, trying to make do with what you have and figure out how much weight you want to carry. All this stuff is fairly light except for maybe the water. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these sausages, break them in half so they fit in my pan. Actually, these are breaking in half for me, so it's really handy. Okay, so while our sausage cooks, so this is, I think this is salt and pepper. I'm not really sure because I do not read. I believe this is Japanese or Chinese. I barely read English.
Side note, I would probably guess it's Japanese. Ramen would hail from there. It just got popular worldwide.
Yes. Keep an eye on your sausage while you're doing your other things. Okay, and we have another seasoning packet, and this is your finishing touches. This is sesame and oil. You put this on over when you're done. And the last thing in here is again, this is a seasoning sauce for when you're done.
Actually, one of those should be a broth.
Probably this would be the broth.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the broth. This is going to go in. I'm pretty sure we have boiling water, so let me clear off a few things off my table so I have some room to work.
Why don't we add a little bit of water in there now, and then cover the items.
All right.
Just prevent it from burning too far. It's got the flavor now. It's just got to.
Yeah. Yep. So we're gonna
too much, just like a tablespoon.
We're gonna put in a very small amount of water, just to keep it from overcooking. And then we're gonna cover it and let it basically use your serving pan as a steam lid. Okay, so we have. That's the one thing I really like about this APG. It boils water damn quick, which is great if you're backpacking in the woods and you want hot water for something. You get it quick. I'm just turning down my heat. I'm trying to turn it down a little bit, but unfortunately this thing, it didn't want to go down. So first we're going to put in our noodles. Okay, so we're going to put our sauce in so that it disperses into our water. So that way when we put the noodles in, it soaks into the noodles. Always carry a small folding knife with you when you go backpacking. 101 uses. And remember, when you add stuff to boiling water, it will cause it to boil more. So watch it so it doesn't overboil, and just turn down the heat as necessary. Because at this point, you're not looking for a boil, you're looking for a high simmer. That went in perfectly. So now we're just going to let that sit for a few minutes so the noodles absorb. What you can do is either carry a small trash bag or use like one of the bags from your food as your trash bag. So now this is just a matter of letting things cook, and I think the sausage is good enough. I can just turn this off and let the latent heat from the pan cook it. That's a beauty of cooking with cast iron, is when you turn off the heat, you don't turn off the heat. So always make sure that when you are cooking with cast iron, you remember that it's going to keep cooking, it's going to keep dispersing heat after you turn off the heat source. So if you have something on there that you want to stop cooking, pull it out of the pan, even if you've turned the heat off. But you can also, if you're like, okay, this is 75% done, you turn off the heat, leave it covered, it will keep cooking in the pan, and that's a good way to use cast iron. Okay, so we're starting to get a strong smell off of the soup base. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our pork and see if it's dried or just cured, or it's actually, it's fairly soft. It feels like it's been Yep. So we're just going to cut it up a little bit. Now you don't have to cut it up, but I just like cutting it up because it helps spread out the flavor more. And you don't have these big chunks of meat just sitting in there. Okay, so we have our pork in. Now we're going to add in our dry ingredients. Okay, so this is actual pepper flakes, like red pepper. The pork has got so much pepper in it, I'm not going to add more pepper to it. So that's another thing. Look at your ingredients and judge for yourself on your taste. You can always pack those back with you in a small bag. We have some. Okay, this is various greens, so this should be good. And some more greens. Aromatics. Again, the advantage of going with salted or dried or pickled food is if you're going backpacking for a few days, you're not taking away of refrigerating. This stuff will stay good for long periods of time. And you don't have to worry about food poisoning. Now, if you could just as easily just take some top ramen, some jerky, reconstitute the jerky. Just remember the jerky will add a saltiness to it because it's been cured with salt. So I would recommend not using the flavor packet if you're going to use top ramen. Okay, so what we're doing is we're putting the other lid on top because it'll act like an actual warmer, keep the heat in, keep the food warm while the food underneath cooks. And when I think the bottom food's about ready, I'll just turn off the heat and leave it go.
Actually, as soon as the sausage is done, the ramen should be as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the advantage of pickled meat over. The advantage of pickled meat over dried meat is that it doesn't add saltiness, and it reconstitutes faster because it's already fairly moist. But it really comes down to your availability and your taste. If you do end up using a cured salted meat, my recommendation is rinse it off a little bit before you throw it in the pot to reduce the amount of salt being added. All right, our sausage is done. Very done. And whenever you go backpacking or camping, take some paper towels with you. You never know when you'll need them. So I do recommend, like, just go to like dollar store or get a small trash bag so that you can pack out anything you pack in that you use. Keep the forest beautiful. Okay, so now these are the two most common types, but you can get ones like this that have their own legs and have an extension cable that goes to your fuel, so it's not sitting on the fuel's remote. You can also get butane single burner cooking units that take a special butane. Those are used as well. They're very similar to your single burner propane stoves, which I will show you in a later video. Okay, campers, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns,
I was gonna say, what the fuck with the food? We're cooking and you're saying goodbye. What the hell?
okay, so now we're going to plate this. Now, also, if you want to add a little texture, you can get dried tofu, add it in, it'll add some texture, not much flavor. It'll give you more protein and it'll give you extra texture, and you can get either protein, you can get dehydrated, you can get salted. There's a lot of ways for you to get tofu if you want to add a little extra texture. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do for our serving is we're going to put some of our sausage into our pan, put our excess sausage off to the side, and this comes off very well. And we're just going to, am I in frame? Okay, we're just going to take and pour a little over, and since the noodles are a little heavier, we're just going to use our tongs to pour some noodles out. And then you have a nice little camping afternoon stew. Fairly simple, fairly easy. And if you decide to cook something like this at home, what you can do is you can get yourself a glass bowl with some chopsticks. And again, we're just going to take and put some of the sausage in. Sausage last. Okay. We're going to take and we're just going to pour it into the bowl. Actually, looking at it, one of the editors was a little bit of tofu. So if you did get some dried tofu and add it, you'd just be adding a little bit more texture. And then you can just add your sausages. Obviously,
egg, whatever you want to use to garnish.
Yeah, and you can garnish it with sausage, some egg, whatever, bok choy, whatever you want to put on top. And you can serve it to your friends like this. And, you know, if you're going to go cook yourself a quick meal camping, this is perfect. Then you just clean off your metal plate with a rag or in a stream, put it back in your backpack, and you're good to go. Okay, campers, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave a comment down below or contact me through Facebook on The Casual Car Camper. Link is in the description below. And as always, I have links to everything I used here in the description as well. Remember, as always, as long as you're having fun, you're doing camping right.